Okay, so here's the kind of question I was referring to in our announcements, asking you to find the resulting Pearson residuals. We didn't really talk about that in the Blackboard videos, so I'm just going to run through an example of how to find those. All right. So if you remember the formula from the announcements or the math intro page is going to be to find the residuals. It's going to be the observed values minus the expected values squared divided by the expected values. So before I can do that, I have to figure out what these expected values are. And that's going to come from this matrix here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my data from this matrix into matrix A in my calculator. So if you've done a problem with matrices before, there's a bunch of ways you can clear the matrices out. I just always refer to just go to I hit second plus sign to go to the memory screen, and then just hit 7 and clear the whole calculator out. It's just the fastest way, I think. So I hit clear all RAM, and I'm going to hit reset. So everything's out of my calculator. So now if I hit second matrix, I have my matrices here. I'm going to go over to edit. I'm going to edit matrix A. I'm going to put my observed values in the matrix A. So I want this matrix to be a 2 by 3 matrix. 2 columns, I'm sorry, 2 rows, 3 columns. So I'm just going to input all my data just the way it is, just like that. And 24. Okay, just like that. Now that that's entered, I can second mode quit out of that. So I want to run a test of independence for the claim, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to go to my stat menu, over to my test menu, and I'm going to scroll up to chi-square test. Whenever you have a matrix or matrices, you want to use the chi-square test. If you have lists of data, that's going to be goodness of fit. So I'm going to go with the chi-square test. It wants to know where my observed values are coming from. Well, that's what the stuff I put in matrix A was. And now it's going to place the expected values based off the formula into matrix B. So I'll hit calculate. Now don't clear off the screen because the first thing you see they ask for is the expected observations matrices or matrix. But you also, if you scroll down, you'll notice that they also want the chi-squared test statistic. So don't clear the screen off, otherwise you have to do the whole thing again. So I'm just going to write that down. That's going to be 1.443. If they ask for the p-value, you want to make sure you don't clear the screen so you can get that as well, 0.4860. Okay. Once you have that information down, now I need to figure out what the expected observations matrix is. So it was placed into matrix B. So if I go back to the matrix menu and go down to matrix B, hit enter, enter again. Now, depending on what calculator you have, you'll notice I can only really see the first 2 and part of the second 2 entries. And even if I select it, you can't go over. It's kind of silly how they do that. So another way you can check these, because it wants 3 decimal places, is if I go back to the matrix menu, let me get out of here, back to the matrix menu, and just go over to edit and edit matrix B. And you'll see all the values are there up to 3 decimal places. Okay, so I'm just going to copy those down. So I'm going to pause the menu and copy those numbers down, or pause the video real quick. Pause this. Okay, so I have my values input into that. So that's going to be my expected observation matrix here. So then it says, find the resulting Pearson residuals. Again, we haven't talked about this, but it's a really straightforward process just using this formula. So what I'm going to do just for this first cell here, cell AX, is take the observed value, which is 46, minus the expected, which was 42.831. I'm going to square that value, and I'm going to divide that by the expected, which was 42.831. So when I do that, I get, let's get out of this, quit out of that. We have everything we need. 46 minus 42.831. Yeah, square that, and then divide that by 42.831. So I get a value of 2.345. I'm sorry, 0.2345. Oh, that's not 0.2345. And you just do that for each of these cells, and that's how you're going to get your Pearson residuals. Okay, I believe there's only one problem, probably just one problem on the quiz or problem set that asks you to do that.